Welcome to Pathways to Success, a program that supports micro, small, and medium enterprises here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Now, jazz music became popular worldwide in the 1920s and was introduced in the Philippines in the same period during the American occupation. Filipino musicians quickly learned the various styles of American jazz, even creating our own distinct brand of Philippine jazz. A century since, jazz is still very much around, enjoyed by many Filipino audiences. Fans of the genre would be happy to know there's one such place that's all about jazz. And we are joined today by its owner, Nelson Gonzales of Tago Jazz Bar. Good morning, Nelson. Welcome to the show.
Good morning and happy to be here.
Okay, so let's talk about jazz, right? There was a time when the Philippines was called the jazz capital of Asia. How did we earn that title?
Yes, because back in the 60s, there were so many jazz musicians here. And plus, the Americans were here first. So, parang tayo yung first na pinasahan nila ng knowledge of the music. But then, during the 70s and the 80s, medyo nag-died down because a lot of our jazz greats went somewhere else, to the States, migrated somewhere else. Tapos, nag-overtake na yung other Asian countries. And plus, other countries have jazz programs that are being supported by the government. So they had the resources and we didn't.
But you were saying earlier, when we were talking before the show started, the peak of jazz here in the Philippines was when?
70s, 80s.
70s,
Yeah.
okay.
Hanggang early 90s, yeah.
So there were a lot of jazz bands,
Yep.
Filipino jazz bands here.
Back in the 1920s also. Ang
1920s.
daming big bands that used to play all over Metro Manila.
Okay, so before we talk about your jazz bar, who are your all-time favorite jazz musicians, foreign and local?
Foreign, of course, heroes like John Coltrane, sila Miles Davis, sila Ella Fitzgerald, Dizzy Gillespie.
The legends, the greats.
The legends like their jazz gods, Brian and Blade. Sobrang dami actually na Western influences of this art form.
Okay, let's go to the story of how you got started. How much did you love jazz that you decided to turn it into a business?
Jazz is parang nag-reveal siya sa akin that I should take on the path of pursuing this art form. Plus, the time when we opened, walang ibang venue here in the Philippines that provides the space for jazz music. There are a few, there are hotels, but it's not really jazz, but that's okay too. So then I decided that to dive into the rabbit hole and really commit and dedicate myself and my space for the art form. And then eventually, nagdatingan na yung mga artists. And then all the more that I got sucked into it, it's because of the brilliance of these artists who stayed with me and helped me establish the jazz community. That's why I'm so invested and so much in love with jazz.
And there were very few, like you said, even then. And then now you said you're the only jazz bar, as far as you know, here in Metro Manila.
Yeah. Well, I think we're the only jazz, we're the only
live
venue
band.
with live jazz that really dedicates everything to the art form. Some other places, they have it also from time to time, but I think they have a different program altogether.
Okay, about the name, tell us why you named your bar Tago.
Tago, the idea is that just to have it parang in the middle of nowhere and nothing. There's such a space that provides that kind of quality of music. Not saying that it's like high quality or high end. Just it's crazy that you think that in the middle of Cubao, there's jazz.
Tell us where exactly is it located?
It's located along Main Avenue,
Okay.
number 14 Main Avenue.
In Cubao.
Yeah, in Cubao.
Okay. Well, you mentioned that your goal was to build a community for artists and jazz fans. Now, in your 13 years in the business, can you say that you have already achieved this goal?
Well, we have built a small community because the old Tago, so we started 2011, used to be really small. It can sit 20, 25 people. But after we renovated after the pandemic. More and more people are coming in. So yes, I think we were able to jumpstart and make more people interested into the art form of jazz. And yes, we have a community already.
So, what is the profile of your regular audience?
Different kinds of people come to Tago.
Are there more of the younger generation now?
Halo-halo, actually.
Halo-halo.
Yeah, the youngest was an 8-month-old baby. The oldest was 90-ish. So halo-halo every time.
An 8-month-old baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, siguro yung mga jazz fans, like they want to bring along their kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
The Tago is kid-friendly, it's pet-friendly, it's everybody-friendly because jazz is for everyone.
Okay, what milestones in this business, 13 years, right? What are you most proud of?
Firstly, milestones is just being in existence, like existing, being able to do what we are doing. But 2015, we got recognized by the UNESCO and the International Jazz Day people.
Wow.
Like Mr. Herbie Hancock himself wrote me a letter and got endorsed. So that's not for me, that's for the Philippine jazz community. So yeah, I think we were able to put the Philippines back into the jazz map, the worldwide jazz scene.
Have there been many foreign visitors since that recognition?
Yeah, so when foreign artists come to the Philippines, they search and look for jazz, and apparently we're the only venue. So that's why they brave the elements and come to our humble space. We have this really great Puerto Rican jazz pianist, Edsel Gomez. We have Dr. Royal Hartigan. He teaches sometimes at UP Diliman, but he brings his musicians like Art Hirahara, David Bindman. We also had Lada Obradovic from Croatia. We had Masic Fortuna from Poland, Claude Diallo from Switzerland, Christian Booker from Switzerland also. So yeah, we've had a few shares of foreign jazz acts.
Okay,
who
we'd
come
love
here.
to hear about the lineup of musicians playing at Tago, but is it profitable to run a jazz club? We'll find out the answer to that question after this quick break. Keep it here on Pathways to Success. Welcome back to Pathways to Success. We are still with Nelson Gonzales of Tago Jazz Bar. So Nelson, you opened Tago back in 2011 in Cubao. How would you describe the business back then?
Business back then, it's quite slow because of the accessibility of the art form. Many other people doesn't know that venues for jazz existed. Kasasara lang nun actually nung one of the other venues that hosted jazz. So medyo nawalan ng venue. So it was a bit of a struggle for like a couple of years.
So back then, what was the popular music for Filipinos?
Mostly pop, disco,
Pop,
what you hear
okay.
on FM, whatever they play there. Yeah.
Tell us about the pressures and the stresses of running a jazz club.
Oh, since I'm the only one crazy enough, it's like really tantamount, really huge. Aside from running the back end and the back office, uh, like it's managing people, managing the artists, their time, and being kasi sobrang far the idea of jazz, like presenting it to more people. Madami pa sa Filipinos doesn't have the grasp of what really jazz is. But then, after showcasing yung local talents natin, it's not about pushing jazz anymore. It became about the brilliance of our local jazz artists.
Right.
Yeah.
You're pretty much the all-around guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so if there were a lot of challenges, what made you stay in the business?
It's because I love it so much and I love the people so much. That's why my whole life is dedicated into the pursuit of Filipino brilliance.
So when did the business start to pick up?
Ah, so Tago Jazz used to be from 2011 until 2018. I used to sit in an old house. That old house crumbled, like really fell apart. So we had to renovate. Pero may community na nun, but so small, really small. After the pandemic, when we were allowed back to operate again, medyo nag-pick up na siya. And more people are coming and more people are interested in discovering the art form. Yeah.
Okay, so now you were saying, diba, you have all sorts of patrons,
Yep.
many audiences now starting to discover what jazz is. Looking back, what do you think were the mistakes that you could have avoided and what did you learn from them?
Mistakes is not for Tago and for me primarily not being able to like really reach out to more people and not having enough resources to really present not jazz per se but the brilliance of our artists.
Can you describe the jazz community that you have today and what can a curious non-jazz person expect when they visit Tago?
People can expect nothing but honesty in the way we play our music, in the way we express our voices through our instruments. Yun lang, honesty, nothing else.
So earlier we heard some of the live acts. You were showing the video and it sounded really good. Tell us about the musicians who play regularly in Tago. Tell us about your weekly lineup.
Oh, of course, speaking of brilliant Filipino musicians, we have sax legend Tots Tolentino, Elmir Saison on piano.
When can we catch him, si Tots Tolentino?
Tots will be at Tago this Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah, he'll be here playing with Chuck Hoson, the MD of another network, and Romel de la Cruz. So, yep, we have the finest Filipino jazz musicians playing. Yeah.
Definitely. And wow, I want to catch that on Sunday. So if there is another passionate soul who would like to open maybe a jazz bar, so what are the tips that you can maybe share with us about running this kind of business?
Be persistent and love your dreams enough. For without dreams, what is the world?
Yes. And like you said, you might be the crazy guy
Yeah.
with the only one with a jazz bar, but yeah, you love what you're doing. You
Yep.
love what you've created. Okay, so we are taking another short break. When we return, we will find out the future of jazz music in the Philippines. Keep it here on Pathways to Success. Welcome back to Pathways to Success. We are still with Nelson Gonzales of Tago Jazz Bar. Now, Nelson, you opened Tago 2011 in Cubao, right? And but now our younger Filipinos, the younger generation, are into Korean, American pop, also P-pop, Pinoy pop, right? So now, how do you reach out to the younger audience? How do you connect with them now?
Well, we try like using social media to appeal to more people. Not only the young folks, but to older generations who hasn't been exposed to jazz music, especially the discoveries of our local jazz greats. So social media, that's it. And then whenever they have the chance to come to Tago, they find out that jazz music is really like really good.
So we mentioned at the beginning of the show that there is such a thing as Philippine jazz. How exactly do you Philippinize jazz, or such a foreign concept as jazz?
So the elements of jazz, Western at least, the jazz, we try to parang integrate the sound that's truly Filipino, the way we speak, yung araw-araw na idioms, lifestyle, our ethnicity, yung tribal connections natin. So we try to integrate all of that into the music para relatable. Yeah.
Tell us about who were the pioneers again, and who are the new generation who are pursuing jazz?
Pioneers here, madami sila. Bob Aves, like doing his fusion music. Sila, I forget, sorry. Sila, of course, sila Boy Katindig. Yan yung mga ano natin, mga like superheroes. But most of them, si Sir Bob is gone already. Of course, Noli Aurelio is like really genius guitar player, but he's passed on already. Koyang Avenir also. Currently, we have again sila Sir Tots, Elmir Saison, Dix Lucero. They're really medyo madami na notable artists who are paying their dues para ma-present yung jazz to more people. And up and coming, we have Miss Faye Pano, who's really like super good jazz vocalist. I think she's the only really notable na jazz vocalist now. We have Berga Nunez, who's really pushing forward the scene. Like they're trying to make labs in other venues as well and invite people to be exposed to the music.
Love to rediscover the new artists, right? So tell us about future plans. Are you planning to open another branch or other services that you'd want to offer?
Future plans, well, first, like to get from today to tomorrow first, and then eventually when we have access to resources, probably another branch somewhere in the south. But the ultimate dream would be having a venue, a center, or probably an institution where we can give jazz education, appreciation.
I love that, yes. Okay, before we end, you're saying jazz is for everyone. You care to elaborate on this?
Yes, for the longest time, jazz hasn't been accessible here in the Philippines. It's because there's this connotation that it's for the elite, it's high art, highbrow music, but it's actually the reverse. Jazz came from the blues, gospel, and all the hardships of the entire Black community. So, as Filipinos, we also have that blues.
Yeah.
So, araw-araw tayo naghihirap mag-commute, walang pamasahe, walang pambayad ng ano, So, we have that, we have burn, we have passion, and so that's why I'm saying that jazz is for everyone.
It's easy listening also,
it's easy listening, it connects to your soul, but aside from the complexities of how we write and present the music, it's as simple as saying, parang, I'm happy, but you're back with the 21-piece jazz ensemble.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Nelson, for sharing your story with us and sharing your dedication to honor Philippine jazz.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thanks for watching Pathways to Success. To entrepreneurs out there, remember that the more you learn, the more you earn. I'm Mai Rodriguez. See you again here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel, always on top.